China conducted military drills around Taiwan.
Coming one day after Nancy Pelosi paid a visit.
The trip and reached Beijing.
And meanwhile, the Chinese authorities announced that they're going to conduct live fire shooting drills for 10 days.
The Chinese government cannot dictate who can come and who cannot come.
Taiwan was never a part of the People's Republic.
A lot of people do not realize how tangled up the political ties between China and Taiwan turn out to be. It looks straightforward from afar, but dig a bit deeper, and you see it connects to the long, layered histories of both places and the broader clash between communism and capitalism that shaped the 20th century. Welcome to the World Untangled, where we take knots of geography and history and slowly ease them apart so the full picture becomes clear. To really understand what's going on, we need to step back more than a century. Taiwan was under the ruling of the Qing dynasty back then, the same imperial rulers who presided over massive stretches of nowadays China. But things took a sharp turn when the Qing lost the First Sino-Japanese War in the late 1800s. As part of the Treaty of Shimonoseki, they ceded Taiwan to Japan. What followed was 50 years of Japanese rule, a long chapter that drastically shaped the island's architecture, education systems, infrastructure, and even everyday habits. Like any other country that's been colonized, history kind of leaves some marks even after the country becomes independent. Taiwan's past with Japan can be seen today. You can spot Japanese wooden houses tucked next to old Chinese temples, all under the shadow of ultra-modern buildings, like the skyscraper Taipei 101 in the capital Taipei. It is named 101 because there are 101 floors. Another interesting fact about that skyscraper is that it is 508.2 meters tall, which ranks it the 10th tallest building in the world. From 2004 until 2010, it was actually the tallest building on the planet. After World War II ended, Japan surrendered Taiwan, returning it to the Republic of China, ROC. But the timing couldn't have been more chaotic. The Chinese Civil War was ramping up, pitting the nationalists, Kuomintang, or KMT, against the communists. When the communists eventually won and founded the People's Republic of China, PRC, in 1949, which is actually today's China, the nationalist government retreated to the island of Taiwan, 2,103 kilometers, 1,307 miles from the mainland, and decided to start their own nation. That single moment split political authority, and suddenly you had two governments, both claiming to represent all of China. This dual claim period set the stage for decades of diplomatic struggle and tension. You now understand how pissed off RPC and ROC were. And yes, people still mistake which one is which. One detail that surprises many: Taiwan, not the PRC, actually held China's seat in the United Nations for years. Only in 1971 did the UN recognize the PRC as the legitimate representative of China. After that shift, most countries switched diplomatic recognition to Beijing. Today, Taiwan maintains official ties with only about a dozen countries, though it keeps far more unofficial relationships through representative offices. These quiet links, business exchanges, cultural centers, research cooperation, form a crucial support network that keeps Taiwan connected to the world even without widespread formal recognition. And by the way, China now has veto power in the UN, and it is part of the Security Council. Along things get complicated quickly because Beijing insists on the One China principle, arguing that Taiwan is an inseparable part of China. Yet Taiwan has evolved into something distinctly its own: a democracy with lively elections, a robust civil society, and a culture shaped by layers of indigenous heritage, Chinese migration, Japanese influence, and global openness. Younger generations often lean toward identifying as Taiwanese first, not Chinese, and see their home as charting a separate course shaped by shared freedoms and local experiences. Culturally, each side highlights different landmarks and symbols. China pulls countless visitors to icons like the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, the Terracotta Army, and sprawling national parks that stretch across deserts, mountains, and river valleys. Taiwan's attractions feel more intimate: the calm mirror of Sun Moon Lake, the marble cliffs of Taroko Gorge, the lantern-lit alleys of Yufan, and the night markets humming with steam buns, grilled squid, and bubble tea. These places aren't just postcards. They reflect how people imagine home, heritage, and belonging. Taiwan governs itself fully, creating its own laws, running elections, managing trade, and maintaining its military. Taiwan is famous for electronic chips production, but the pressure from Beijing lingers suited in competing visions of the future. China views reunification as a non-negotiable part of national destiny and has never ruled out using force. Taiwan, meanwhile, seeks to protect its democratic institutions, freedoms, and security. Many people on the island prefer the current status quo, self-rule without formally declaring independence, because they know a bold move could trigger intense consequences. On the world stage, don't forget that China's position as a permanent UN Security Council member gives it veto power, influencing how international bodies respond to tensions around Taiwan. Other nations watch carefully, especially the United States. The US does not officially recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state, but it supports the island through trade, unofficial diplomatic channels, and arms sales under the Taiwan Relations Act. Today, only 12 nations recognize Taiwan as an independent state, though many countries like the US, Canada, India, Australia, Spain, the UK have an ambiguous stance on Taiwan, so that means these countries do not recognize the island as an independent country, nor agree completely with the One China belief. This creates a delicate balancing act. Washington discourages unilateral declarations of independence, while also opposing any forced unification. China sees this as foreign interference. Taiwan sees it as essential protection. Economically, both regions play enormous roles. China stands among the world's largest economies with vast industrial capacity and global influence. Taiwan, despite its smaller size, drives a huge portion of the global tech ecosystem. Its semiconductor industry, powered by giants like TSMC, anchors worldwide supply chains. Taiwan produces the majority of the planet's advanced chips, the kind found in smartphones, data centers, AI systems, and even spacecraft. In 2024 alone, Taiwan's semiconductor revenue topped roughly $165 billion, representing one of the most critical legs of global high-tech infrastructure. Tourism and travel highlight the human connections beneath the politics. China's sweeping landscapes and ancient sites draw millions. Taiwan's travel industry rebounded strongly after the pandemic, with vibrant visitor numbers returning to pre-2020 levels. Food lovers came back for night markets, hikers returned for misty mountains, families reunited across the strait when policies allowed. These movements preserved personal bonds even when political winds turned harsh. Taiwan's internal politics shift every election cycle. Some leaders push for closer ties with China, hoping economic gains and reduced tension will benefit the island. Others emphasize a firmer Taiwanese identity and seek to distance policy-wise from Beijing. Each shift triggers responses from the mainland: military exercises, diplomatic pressure campaigns, sharper public statements, and strategic attempts to sway Taiwan's remaining diplomatic partners. China's leaders face their own pressures. National unity remains central to the government's legitimacy. Many on the mainland see Taiwan as part of their historical and cultural fabric, a piece of the nation temporarily separated but destined to return. These feelings aren't limited to officials. Everyday people often echo them, shaped by education, media narratives, and long-standing cultural ties. What often gets overlooked is how ordinary life unfolds on both sides. Despite political friction, daily routines in Taipei, Kaohsiung, Shanghai, or Beijing are filled with the same universal rhythms: commuting to work or school, grabbing street snacks, caring for family, navigating exams, chasing personal goals. Most people think far more about making ends meet or planning their futures than about geopolitical conflict. The biggest danger comes not from widespread desire for confrontation, but from accidents, misunderstandings, or escalations that spiral unexpectedly. Connections run deep across the strait. The languages share roots. Traditions like Lunar New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival, and Dragon Boat Festival are celebrated in both places. Foods echo shared heritage. Families still span the divide, and before the pandemic, millions traveled back and forth yearly for tourism, business, or reunion. Those personal ties outlast political speeches. Will a resolution emerge, No one can say. Some analysts believe the uneasy equilibrium will hold because it avoids catastrophic outcomes for all sides. Others argue that rising global competition could push the situation toward a sharper shift. Any bold move, whether diplomatic, military, or internal, could reshape not just East Asia, but global trade, security, and political alliances. It's easy to talk about China and Taiwan as if they were monolithic blocks, but reality is more layered. Within Taiwan, opinions range from pro-independence to pro-engagement to somewhere in between. On the mainland, people hold a spectrum of views, though they may not express them publicly. Governments make firm statements, but real life includes countless personal hopes, anxieties, and dreams. This issue matters globally because Taiwan sits at the heart of tech supply chains, while China influences worldwide markets, diplomacy, and security. What happens across the Taiwan Strait sends ripples through finance, manufacturing, shipping, and international relations. Even if the tensions feel distant, their outcomes affect everyone. Your devices, your economy, your politics. Behind the scenes, constant communication aims to prevent crises. Quiet diplomatic channels, military-to-military hotlines, and backdoor negotiations work daily to avoid misunderstandings. Dramatic headlines pull attention, but these quiet efforts maintain stability far more often than people realize. The story of China and Taiwan continues to evolve. History shaped it, but present-day decisions shape it too. Decisions about identity, dialogue, cooperation, and long-term visions. Stability matters deeply to both sides, and outside voices continue to advocate for peaceful paths. Hope for calm persists. The ultimate outcome depends on leaders, citizens, economies, and the people who live along the strait navigating the choices ahead. Taiwan remains a self-ruled democratic island with its own character. China holds firmly to its vision of unity. A narrow stretch of water separates them, yet decades of memories, tensions, exchanges, and conversations connect them. Whatever turns come next will help define East Asia and influence the broader world we all share.